All right, Shabbat Shalom, Shabbat Shalom, Shabbat Shalom. You are live and direct once again with your Akazaki Yahoo, giving all praises, honor, and great esteem unto the Most High Power, Yahuwah, Bashem, Hamashiach, Wamalak, Yahushua, the Messiah. All praises to the Abba. It is the Sabbath Yom, and we are back uh, with your Akazaki Yahoo. I'm with my most esteemed Akinanaya. Shabbat Shalom, Aki.
Hey, Shabbat Shalom, Aki. Shabbat Shalom, Yasharal. Call Halal Yahweh. Bahashem, Hamashiach, Wamalak, Yahweh Shah, Barakatham.
Hallelujah. All praises to Yahweh in the name of his beloved son, Yahweh Shah, the Messiah and King. Bless you. Hallelujah. Yes, indeed. So we are back for another video review from our good brothers, our very good brothers, our very, very good brothers over at the Chosen Seed in Detroit, Michigan. This was one that the Adawan YaaQob did last week. YaaQob did last week, and we're gonna get into it. Uh, Always interesting information when the Adawan brings it out, and we're looking forward to it. So let's get to it and get through it. All praises to the Abba. Shout out to the 12 tribes who are scattered to the four quarters for all my brothers and my Akeem and my co-team. Peace and blessings. Shalom Wabaruki. And I can't wait for the Most High to gather us again and bring us back into our land where we will reign and rule forever and ever and even forever. Hallelujah.
Hallelujah.
Yes, indeed. All right, we're going to jump right into this and let's get to it. Here we go.
Shabbat Shalom. All right, all right. We're going to pick it up uh, uh, from where we was at last time. Yeah, it's got a little ecky. All right. So the last time we was up, we seen that the sun was turned up 7 times hotter and brighter, and the moon was like the, the sun's light that we see now, and it was scorching men, and it was no water to drink. They was only drinking blood. They had sores all over their bodies, but it was something that they refused to do. What is that? To do what? They refused to repent. And this is the reason why they end up in the lake, because they refuse to repent. They thought that cursing Yah would make them be killed and they would be out of their misery. So we're going to pick it up from there. Revelation chapter 16. And we're going to pick it up at verse 13 again.
The book of Revelation, chapter 16 at verse 13. And I saw 3 unclean ruachs, like frogs, come out of the mouth of the dragon, and out of the mouth of the beast, and out of the mouth of the false prophet.
Out of where?
Out of the mouth of the dragon, out of the mouth of the beast, and out of the mouth of the false prophet.
So all 3 of these, the false godhead has unclean spirits coming out of their mouths. Again, what's a frog's weapon? His tongue, right? So it's letting you know that they're going to catch you up with what? Their words, right? Smooth talking. Tell you what you want to hear. How many people like to be told the truth or a lie? Which one feel better to you? Yep. We'll say the truth, but the actions will show that we really want the lie. And we showed you that y'all gonna oblige you. If that's what you really want, that's what he's gonna give you. So all three of these have lies coming out of their mouths. Verse 14.
Verse 14. For they are the ruachs of devils, working miracles.
Doing what?
Working miracles.
Working miracles. That's, he said that we seek a what? The Greeks seek knowledge, but the Jews seek a sign. He says, unless you see a sign, you what? You will not believe. So the old boy here gonna have many waiting in store for you. Read.
For they are the ruachs of devils, working miracles, which go forth unto the kings of the earth.
Go where?
Go forth unto the kings of the earth.
Go forth unto the kings of the earth. As we go through this, you're gonna see most of this is directly centered in the Middle East area, around the Mediterranean, all through the Middle East. But it's something that's got to get everybody else involved in this mess. And in this world, we have things called allies, right? So if you mess with this country, you got to mess with us, right? So we're going to see some stuff. Go ahead, read.
Which go forth unto the kings of the earth and of the whole world to gather them to the battle of that great day of Elohim Almighty. Behold, I come as a thief. Blessed is he that watch and keeps his garments.
Blessed is he that do what?
That watches and keeps his garments.
Blessed is he that watch and do what with his garment?
Keeps his garments.
And keeps his garment. So let's see a garment. Blessed is he that watches and keeps his garment. Least he do what?
Least he walk naked.
Least he do what?
Walk naked.
Least he walk naked. So you need to be watching, keep your garment, or you're going to end up naked. And know that you are naked. So who wasn't watching and ended up naked? Adam and Eve from the beginning. Right? Because we're supposed to do what with the commandments? Protect, guard. Right? So we see that they wasn't on it, and they ended up naked, and knowing that they were naked, and they were instantly what? Ashamed. Read.
Behold, I come as a thief. Blessed is he that watches and keeps his garment, lest he walk naked, and they see his shame.
And they see what?
His shame.
And they see his shame. And when you're ashamed, what do you do immediately? Try to cover it up. I don't want nobody to see me. That's the natural thing to do. Right? Because I don't want nobody to see me. He's bringing you all the way back to that over here in the end, declaring the end from the beginning. Verse 16.
And he gathered them together into a place called in the Hebrew tongue Armageddon.
Called what?
In the Hebrew tongue, Armageddon.
So when y'all hear the word Armageddon, what comes to your mind? War, right? This is the war of wars. It ain't never gonna be, it was never one before like it, and it won't be one after it like it. So even the ones that they say World War I and World War II will not be in comparison to this. Read that one more time, Mark.
And he gathered them together into a place called in the Hebrew tongue Armageddon.
Called Armageddon, right? This is a place over in the Middle East. It's a real place. Yep, it's a real place. So you will hear this is spiritual. No, this is real. Verse 17.
And the seventh Malak poured out his vial into the air, and there came a great voice out of the temple of Shamaim from the throne, saying, "It is done."
It is what?
It is done.
It is done. So the last time it was said that it is done or it is finished was when? In the Messiah, this is significant for him saying that it is done. Right? Verse 18.
And there were voices and thunders and lightnings, and there was a great earthquake, such as was not since men were upon the earth.
So it's a great thunders and lightnings, and then this great earthquake. So we're going to see something. This Armageddon is to gather the nations together to bring them in to this battle. Let's get Revelation 14, verse 19. Matter of fact, 18.
The book of Revelation, chapter 14 and verse 18. And another Malak came out from the altar, which had power which had power over fire, and cried with a loud cry to him that had the sharp sickle, saying, "Thrust in your sharp sickle and gather the clusters of the vine of the earth."
And do what?
And gather the clusters of the vine of the earth, for her grapes are fully ripe.
So who are the grapes here? These same people that's being gathered to this battle of Armageddon. Esau and them is the lead dogs of the grapes. Keep that in mind. Read.
Verse 19. And the Malak thrust in his sickle into the earth, and gathered the vine of the earth, and cast it into the great winepress of the wrath of Elohim. And the winepress was trodden without the city, and blood came out of the winepress, even unto the horses' bridles.
Unto where?
Unto the horses' bridles.
Unto the horse's bridle. So when the horses are running through this blood, it's splattering on them. Read.
By the space of 1,600 furlongs.
So when you do the math on this, according to what I've seen, this is like, they said it's 180 miles wide. So this is like from here to Ohio, almost to Cedar Point or something. Maybe a little further, but this is a long way. 180 miles. This is quite a ways of land that this covers. So we're saying that the blood is going to be spread out from about 180 miles wide. This is how much blood is going to be on the ground. And it's enough that when the horses are running through it, it splatters on them. So in Zechariah, it talks about horses with specks on them, or speckled horses. That's what it's talking about, the blood being splattered upon them. All right? Get me Psalms 75, verse 1.
The book of Psalms, chapter 75, and verse 1. Unto you, O Elohim, do we give thanks. Unto you do we give thanks, for that your name is near your wondrous works, For that your name is near your wondrous works declare. When I shall receive the congregation, I will judge uprightly.
I will do what?
I will judge uprightly.
This is what he's getting ready to do in chapter 16 and in chapter 19. He's getting ready to judge. Read.
The earth and all the inhabitants thereof are dissolved.
Okay, what?
Are dissolved.
That's what he's talking about, because he's coming back in what? Flaming fire. So everything when he does what he does, it's going to be dissolved. This psalm is talking about the end. Read.
The earth and all of the inhabitants thereof are dissolved. I bear up the pillars of it. I said unto the fools, deal not foolishly, and to the wicked, lift not up the horn, lift not up your horn on high, speak not with a stiff neck, for promotion comes neither from the east.
Come from where?
Neither from the east.
It don't come from the east. Read.
Nor from the west, nor from the south, but Elohim is the judge.
But who is the judge?
Elohim is the judge.
But Elohim is the judge. In the land, what portion, what direction did Dan have? The north, right? What is the Antichrist called? The king of what? The king of the north. So remember, he's trying to imitate. It's letting you know that the actual blessings come from the north. So the Antichrist is going to be in the north. That's where Mashiach is going to go, to the north to start this thing off. What verse you at?
6.
Read on.
For promotion, this is 6, but verse 7. But Elohim is the judge. He puts down one and sits upon another.
Sets up
another. For in the hand of Yahuwah there is a cup.
There is what?
A cup.
There is a cup. What do you think this cup is for? It's the same cup that Mashiach had to drink in the garden. You think it's pleasant? He begged, Father, if it's any other way, please take this cup away. So you don't want what's in this cup. Keep that in mind. If you don't get in line, he's going to force you to drink this cup. Read.
For in the hand of Yahuwah there is a cup, and the wine is red. It is full of mixture, and he pours out the same, but the dregs thereof, all the wicked of the earth shall wring them out.
So do what?
Shall wring them out.
So here in this, it says, for in the hand of Yahuwah there is a cup, and the wine is red and is full of mixture. But Revelation says that it is poured out without mixture. So something is wrong. Let's see what they in Revelation was actually quoting from. They were quoting from the Septuagint. We can get Psalms 74. One moment. One second. We're going to get Psalm 74 and 8 from the Septuagint. Yes. 74, verse 8. You got to read it from here because it ain't in there.
Psalm 74, verse 8. For there is a cup in the hand of the master, full of unmingled wine, and he has turned it from side to side, but its dregs have not been wholly poured out. All the sinners of the earth shall drink them.
So you see, they're actually in the New Testament, they're quoting from this as opposed to the KJV version of this. So it says unmingled. KJV says it's mingled, it's mixture. This is unmixed, straight. He don't mix it at all. So just in case somebody come along and say, well, this one say this, they actually quoting from here. So read it from the KJV again.
For in the hand of Yahuwah there is a cup, and the wine is red. It is full of mixture, and he pours it out of the same, but the dregs thereof are all the wicked of the earth shall wring them out and drink them.
Now read it from the Septuagint.
For the cup in the hand of Yahuwah, full of unmingled wine, and he has turned it from side to side, but its dregs have not been wholly poured out. All the sinners of the earth shall drink them.
You see, it's a difference. It's letting you know that this right here is different. It go back to they're actually reading from the Septuagint. So let's get Numbers, chapter 2, verse 25. It's the Bible. It's just the original version that was directly translated from the Hebrew Bible that 70 of our people translated. Numbers chapter 2, verse 25.
The book of Numbers, chapter 2, at verse 25. The standard of the camp of Dan. The standard of the camp of Dan shall be on the north side.
Shall be where?
On the north side.
Shall be on the north side. We know that this man that's coming comes from the tribe of Dan. So again, it's on the north side. All of this stuff is for a reason. Exodus 14 and 2.
The book of Exodus, chapter 14, at verse 2. Speak unto the children of Israel that they turn and encamp before Pahahiroth, between Migdol and the sea over against Baal-Zephon.
Baals of what?
Baal-Zephon.
We looked this word up last time. What does this mean? Lord of somewhere. Lord of the north. So all the way back, Pharaoh and them was being, even though he was from the south, they still bringing this up. All right, keep this in mind. Get me Daniel chapter 11, verse 13. Uh-huh.
The book of Daniel, chapter 11 and verse 13. For The king of the north
For
shall
who?
the king of the north shall return, and shall set forth a multitude greater than the former.
So the king of the north, it's important to understand who comes from the north and who's there and what comes there. So this king of the north, and when Yah mentions directions in the scriptures, it's always from Israel. So if he says north, south, whatever it is he's saying, that direction is from Israel. So when he says flee from the land of the north, we can't put that and say, see, that's North America. We can't say that that's North Korea, because every time he mentioned a direction, it's from Israel. Israel is the center to let you know where he's talking about from. So don't let nobody fool you when it says the north. That's talking about North America. That's talking about no, because it's not. It's important to know. All right? Get me Isaiah chapter 34. We're going to pick it up at verse 1. So remember, this Armageddon is to bring in all nations into this war. Isaiah 34. We're going to pick it up at verse 1.
The book of Isaiah, chapter 34, verse 1. Come near, you nations, to hear, and hearken, you people, let the earth hear, and all that is therein, the world, and all things that come forth of it. For the indignation of Yahuwah is upon all nations, and his fury upon all their armies.
And all of what?
His fury upon all their armies.
So right here, we know that this is talking about the same thing, which is Armageddon, because now he's talking about his fury is against all nations and all their army. Talking about the same thing. Read.
He have utterly destroyed them. He have delivered them to the slaughter.
So right here, it may sound like this is past, but this is what Paul is talking about. He speaks those things as though they already were. Read.
Verse 3. Their slain also shall be cast out, and their stink shall come up out of their carcasses, and the mountains shall be melted with their blood, and all the host of Shamaim shall be dissolved.
Same thing right here again. And all the host of Shamaim shall be dissolved, because Yah himself is said to be a what? Some sort of a consuming fire. So everything is dissolved. There's no earthly fire that can cause this. Read.
Their slain also shall be cast out, and their stink shall come up out of their carcasses, and the mountains shall be melted with their blood, and all the host of Shamaim shall be dissolved, and Shamaim shall be rolled together as a scroll.
It's going to be what?
Rolled together as a scroll.
It's going to be rolled together as a scroll. So picture the scroll, and the way that it unrolls and comes back in, he's going to do that with that veil that's covering the firmament. It's going to be a scary thing. And you're going to get to see him for real. Read.
Verse 4. And all the hosts of Shamaim shall be dissolved, and Shamaim shall be rolled together as a scroll, and all their hosts shall fall down as the leaf falls from the vine.
So it says all their hosts shall fall down. Science tells us, how big do NASA and the scientists tell us stars are? They say the sun is actually small compared to them. So if this is real, what would really happen if just one came down? It would be bad, but that's not for real. Read on.
Verse 4. And all the and I'm sorry. And all their host shall fall down as a leaf falls from the vine, and as a falling fig from the fig tree. For my sword shall be bathed in Shamayim.
He said, what?
My sword shall be bathed in Shamayim.
What does it mean that his sword is going to be bathed in Shamayim? What does that mean? My sword shall be bathed in Shamayim. Read a little more, they may catch it.
For my sword shall be bathed in Shamayim. Behold, it shall come down upon Idumea and upon the people of my curse to judgment. The sword of Yahuwah is filled with blood.
It is what?
Filled with blood.
Now I ask y'all, what does it mean that his sword is bathed in heaven? It's filled with blood. But notice it says it's in heaven and it's filled with blood. What could that be talking about? Let's see. Give me Revelation chapter 12. And verse 7. Revelation chapter 12, verse 7.
The book of Revelation, chapter 12, at verse 7. And there was war in Shamayim.
Where at?
In Shamayim.
This is what this is referring to. Read.
Michael and his Malachim fought against the dragon, and the dragon fought and his Malachim, and prevailed not, neither was their place found any more in Shamayim. And the great dragon was cast out, that old serpent called the devil and Shaitan, which deceives the world.
Which do what?
Which deceives the world.
Which deceives the world. We're going to see a little bit later how this deception comes all the way back full circle of the imitating of Mashiach and how it really works. All right? Go back to Isaiah 34, verse 6.
Isaiah 34 and 6. The sword of Yahuwah is filled with blood. It is made fat with fatness, and with the blood of the lambs and goats, with the fat of the kidneys of the rams. For Yahuwah hath a sacrifice in Bozrah, and a great slaughter in the land of Idumea.
And where?
A great slaughter in the land of Idumea.
In the land of Idumea, he giving you direct names and titles of places. I don't know how we turn this and make this be what we want it to be, but he's telling you directly where this is. Give me Isaiah 63, verse 1.
The book of Isaiah, chapter 63 at verse 1. Who is this that comes from Edom and with dyed garments from Bozrah?
With what type of garments?
Dyed garments from Bozrah.
Dyed garments. So somebody was out there with some writ, dyeing that man garments. So, somebody out there dyeing this man garments. He had a crispy white garment on and somebody dyed it for him because he was coming to the gathering. Oh, that's other gathering. Read on.
That is glorious in his apparel, traveling in the greatness of his strength. I that speak in righteousness, mighty to save.
Mighty to do what?
Mighty to save.
That's what he was sent into the world to do, was to save. Read.
Wherefore are you red in your apparel?
Why is your garments red, Mashiach? Read.
And your garments like him that treads in the wine fat. I have trodden the winepress alone, and of the people, and the people that was none with me, for I will tread them in my anger, and trample them in my fury, and their blood shall be sprinkled upon my garments.
So remember in 14, it was talking about that the harvest is ready, right? And he says, cast in thy sickle and reap the grapes. So he's again, it's going right back into the same thing. This is this event taking place right here. We're gonna see it's real, a real event. Read.
And I will stain all my raiment, for the day of vengeance is in my heart, and the year of my redeemed is come. And I looked, and there was none to help, and I wondered, and there was none to uphold. Therefore my own arm brought salvation unto me, and my fury it upheld me.
So right here in verse 5, he says, I looked, and there was none to help, and I wondered, and there was none to uphold. Therefore, mine own arm brought salvation unto me, and my fury is upheld in me. So we're going to see he got an army with him, but they don't actually do nothing, just like we read in Exodus, that it says that we were harnessed, but we was afraid. It's kind of the same thing. Read.
And I would tread down the people in my anger and make them drunk with my fury.
Make them what?
Drunk in my fury.
Make them drunk in my fury. So we see the wine has played a major role, but now you're going to get to drink some of Yah's wine, the premium wine that you really don't want, but you're going to drink it. All right? Get me Zechariah chapter 14, verse 1. Yep, 14 and 1.
The book of Zechariah, chapter 14, and verse 1. Behold, the day of Yahuwah comes, and your spoil shall be divided in the midst of you. For I will gather all nations against Jerusalem.
I will do what?
Gather all nations against Jerusalem to battle.
I'm going to bring all nations against Jerusalem to do what?
To battle.
To battle. Remember, it says, when the Antichrist do what he says, it says, who can make war with him? Like basically, who can stand in front of him? Nobody can do nothing with him. But y'all gonna not only get you, he gonna get all of y'all. So instead of going over the whole earth, walking to America, to China, and to Russia and all of that, I'm gonna do that. I'm gonna make y'all come over here to me. It's a part of it. So I'm going to make everybody come to me, and I'm going to get y'all all in one time. A Royal Rumble type of battle. So if you watch wrestling, you kind of know about this. It's chaotic. But not everybody coming one at a time. Every 3 minutes, a new person come in. I'm going to get y'all all at once. Verse 2, again.
For I will gather all nations against Jerusalem to battle, and the city shall be taken, and the horses rifled, and the women ravished, and half the city shall...
And the women what?
And the women ravished.
What does that mean? Is that like talking about... Is that like talking about when you over there that you get permission that y'all say that you can rape the women? Is that what they're talking about? What I heard, that's what that was talking about. So it's not going to be okay to rape people. Oh, okay. I heard that before. But go ahead. Read that again.
For I will gather all nations against Jerusalem to battle, and the city shall be taken, and the horses rifled, and the women ravished, and half of the city shall go forth into captivity, and the residue of the people shall not be cut off from the city, Then shall Yahuwah go forth and fight against those nations, as when he fought in the day of battle.
As when he did what?
As when he fought in the day of battle.
As when he fought in the day of battle. Read.
And his feet shall stand in that day upon the Mount of Olives.
So it's letting you know that this is a physical thing, a real thing. It says that his feet gonna do what?
Shall stand in that day upon the Mount of Olives.
So that means Mashiach is where? Physically where? On earth. It's not no spiritual thing. This is really him on the earth. That's what this is saying. That man is going to be down here. We're going to have other passages to back this up. So he will physically be on the earth. Read verse 4 again.
And his feet shall stand in that day upon the Mount of Olives, which is before Jerusalem on the east. And the Mount of Olives shall cleave in the midst thereof toward the east and toward the west, and there shall be a very great valley, and half of the mountain shall remove toward the north, and half toward the south, and you shall flee into the valley of the mountains.
You're gonna do what?
Flee into the valley of the mountains, for the valley of the mountains shall reach unto Azal. Yeah, you shall flee, like as you fled from before the earthquake. From before the earthquake in the days of Uzziah.
So it's pointing you back. It's keep talking about this earthquake. We're gonna see what takes place. Get me Zechariah chapter 12, verse 1.
The book of Zechariah chapter 12 at verse 1. The burden of the word of Yahuwah for Israel, says Yahuwah, which stretch forth the Shamayim and lays the foundation of the earth and forms the Ruach of man within him. Behold, I will make Jerusalem a cup of trembling.
Same thing we just was talking about. I'm bringing all of these nations against Jerusalem. Behold, I make Jerusalem a cup of trembling. Read.
Unto all the people round about, when they shall be in the siege, both against Judah and against Jerusalem. And in that day will I make Jerusalem a burdensome stone for all the people. All that burden themselves with it shall be cut in pieces, though all the people of the earth be gathered together against it.
So this is talking about Armageddon. All of the people be gathered together against it. And he says they're going to be cut in pieces, though all the people of the earth be gathered together against it. So he's going to make Jerusalem a cup of trembling for everybody that comes against it. This is going to determine whether you are blessed or cursed. He told Abraham all the way back, I will bless them that bless you, and I will curse them that curse you. This is going to determine whether you are a sheep or a goat with these other nations. So we tend to think that if it's a bunch of us, we more brave, right? So it's like the scary dude with a pistol now, right? All of a sudden, I wish it would do something to me. Yeah, I'm going to take your little pistol from you and whoop you with it. Get. I hear, boy, what's wrong with you? This is what's going to take place when all of these nations are doing what they're doing. It would be wise for them to get down with them. But they pride ain't going to let them. Most of them anyway. Read. Verse 4.
In that day, says Yahuwah, I will smite every horse with astonishment, and his rider with madness, and I will open my eyes upon the house of Judah.
So when it says he's going to do what with every horse?
smite every horse with astonishment, and his rider with madness.
So what does it mean for these horses? And what type of war is this going to actually be? It's got to be some sort of a primitive war because it's horses in this. We're going to see more passages to back this up. Not missiles and stuff of that nature that you would naturally think of in war. Read from where you was at.
In that day, saith Yahuwah, I will smite every horse with astonishment, and his rider with madness. And I will open my eyes upon the house of Judah, and I will smite every horse of the people with blindness.
With what?
With blindness.
So now your thing that was making you great, because if you look back at the old primitive movies with them in the war, and you had the people riding on the horses, that was half the battle because you were up higher. That meant you were faster, the whole nine. So I'm going to take that away from you. I'm going to put you on your feet. Then I'm going to give you madness. So your horse won't be able to see. Read on.
Verse 5. And the governors of Judah shall say in their heart, the inhabitants of Jerusalem shall be my strength in Yahuwah of hosts their Elohim. In that day will I make the governors of Judah like an hearth of fire among the wood, and like a torch of fire in a sheaf, and they shall devour all the people round about.
All the people where?
Round about.
Round about. Who are the people that's round about Jerusalem? Roundabout means we're in Michigan. What are the places that are round about us? So think of the Middle East. When he says this, and all of the people that are round about Jerusalem, what ethnicity of people is round about Jerusalem? Directly from the book.
Arabs.
Just pay it to look who around Jerusalem. From Syria and all the way around. Read on.
In that verse 7, and Yahuwah shall also save the tents of Judah first, that the esteem of the house of David and the esteem of the inhabitants of Jerusalem do not magnify themselves against Judah. In that day shall Yahuwah defend the inhabitants of Jerusalem, and he that is feeble among them at that day shall be as David.
He says, and he that is feeble in that day shall be like David. What does it mean to be feeble? Sickly and weak. But now I'm going to take you from being that, and I'm going to make you like David. Now, what did David do that was so great in battle? David's greatest battle was what? He slayed who? The giant Goliath. With all of these armies, that's what it's going to look like. David versus Goliath. They got all of the people and the multitudes, and he's going to wipe them out. And they're going to fall on their face the same way that Goliath did. So Armageddon is going to be something to behold if you're on the right side. Give me Isaiah 31, verse 4.
The book of Isaiah, chapter 31 at verse 4. For thus has Yahuwah spoken unto me, like as the lion and the young lion roaring on his prey, When a multitude of shepherds is called forth against him, he will not be afraid of their voice, nor abase himself for the noise of them. So shall Yahuwah of hosts come down to fight.
So he's going to do what?
Come down to fight.
This is talking about the same thing. When he comes down to fight. Read.
When Yahuwah when Yahuwah so shall Yahuwah of hosts come down to fight for Mount Zion and for the hill thereof, as birds flying.
As what?
As birds flying.
He's giving you how he's going to come down as birds flying. Let you know he's going to be flying at this point, coming down. So he's going to leave his habitation from where he's at and come down to fight and defend Jerusalem and Zion, to save the tents of Judah first, give them their powers, and have them be a hearth or fire pot to these people. Read verse 5 one more time.
Verse 5, as birds flying, so will Yahuwah of hosts defend Jerusalem. Defending also, he will deliver it.
He will do what?
He will deliver it.
That's his whole thing. He's the savior, the deliverer. He's going to come down and fight with these people and save Jerusalem. Hold that. Give me Isaiah 28, verse 14. It is not talking about us doing that. The teaching was that we, as his people, get to come down and rape women.
The people that's inhabiting the land, like they're still there, and we're coming through and destroying the land and ravishing.
You get it? The teaching is, okay, we have been given our power now, and it's the Jewish people are in the land right now, and now we get our power, and we go into the land, and we get to beat the people up, and we get to rape the women. Do that sound like Yah? Because that's not it. That makes no sense. It's still happening, but it's not us doing it. That wouldn't be a righteous thing if y'all had his prophets or people, warriors, going in and doing something of this nature. Where I tell you to get? Isaiah 28, 14.
The book of Isaiah, chapter 28 and 14. Wherefore, hear the word of Yahuwah, you scornful men that rule this people.
That do what?
That rule this people. That rule this people which is in Jerusalem, because you have said, we have made a covenant with death.
We have did what?
Made a covenant with death.
So this is that covenant. He said we have made a covenant with what?
With death.
Read.
And with Sheol are we at agreement. When the overflowing scourge shall pass through, it shall not come unto us, for we have made lies our refuge.
We have made what?
Lies our refuge.
Remember I asked y'all, which would you really want, the truth or the lie, right? Right here it shows that our people have made what their refuge? Lies that our refuge. So it says that they made a covenant with death and with hell. What does it mean to make a covenant? What type of contract agreement? What is but to do what? How does it join you together? We went over this. It's a marriage. So we were supposed to never make a covenant with any other people, because when you're making this covenant, you're going into a marriage agreement. What are we to Yah? His bride, his wife. What is the Antichrist trying to do to you? He's trying to come in and be the side guy and to take you from him. So here he says that you have made a covenant with death and with hell. How do you do that? How do you make a covenant with death and with hell? We went over this. Revelation chapter 6 and verse 8. Yep. Give me Revelation chapter 6 and verse 8.
The book of Revelation, chapter 6 and verse 8. And I looked and beheld a pale horse, and his name that sat on him was Death, and hell followed with him.
So who is this right here? Who is the other guy? It's his son, though. If Mashiach is Yah's son, who is the Antichrist to Satan? Same thing. So right here, they said in Isaiah 28, you have made a covenant with death and with hell. Read what you got.
And I looked, and behold, a pale horse, and his name that sat on him was Death, and hell followed with him.
So who is death right here? Mashiach is life. Who is death? The anti. It's real simple. Just flip one over and it makes all the sense in the world. If Mashiach is this, the other guy is this. So when it says that you made a covenant with death and with hell, it's talking about with this man. You are marrying him. We're not supposed to marry anybody else but Yah. So here he says you made this covenant with death and hell because you think that this is going to save you and get you somewhere. But it's actually going to get you killed, because once, according to Deuteronomy 24, once you go and marry another, you can what? You can never go back to the first husband. So if you do it, you hit. Let's go back to Isaiah 28:14. Absolutely. 1,000,000,000%. When you obey the other guy, you doing it. You don't even got to get no money for it. Just obey your own flesh and do your own will, and you doing it. Read on.
The book of Isaiah, chapter 28 and verse 14. Wherefore, hear the words of Yahuwah, you scornful men that rule this people, which is in Jerusalem, because you have said, we made a covenant with death and with hell.
Now, why would we make this covenant with this person? Right here it says, for the overflowing scourge shall pass through, and it shall not come unto us. So, know how the mob works? Where they give you protection, right? And it says every month, Bruno is coming by to get the payment, right? And him and Benny Blanco is going to come to collect every month. But who are they protecting you from? It's them. If you don't pay for the protection from us, we going to hurt y'all and kill y'all and do all this evil stuff to you. But they're not protecting you from somebody else. It's from them. That's what the Antichrist is doing right here. I'm going to make you take my protection, what you think it is, but it's really just from me. But when you do this, you are fearing the one that can kill the body, as opposed to the one that can kill the body and the soul. Because you got the two compartments and the spirit within you, and you're worried about the body part, when the soul is the one that you should really, really be worried about. Let's get me matter of fact, read on verse 15.
Verse 15, because you have said, we have made a covenant with death and with hell. Are we at agreement? When the overflowing scourge shall pass through, it will not come upon us. For we have made lies our refuge, and under falsehood have we hid ourselves.
Mashiach says that light is coming to the world, but men hate it because they what? Same thing. It's going to be rampant in the end. Read.
Therefore, thus says Yahuwah Elohim, behold, I lay in Zion for a foundation, a stone, a tried stone, a precious cornerstone, a sure foundation. He that believes shall not make haste.
He that what?
He that believes shall not make haste.
He that believes shall not make haste. He says, in your patience possess you your soul. That same thing that you should really, really be trying to save. Read.
Judgment also will I lay to the line, and righteousness to the plummet, and the hail shall sweep away the refuge of lies, and the waters shall overflow the hiding places.
Now I want y'all to remember, he says that hell is going to sweep away the refuge of lies. Remember this hell, right? What are you talking about right here? Read.
And your covenant with death shall be disannulled.
And your covenant what?
With death shall be disannulled.
So when you hear the word disannul, what comes to mind? So when they say these two people were married, but we have annulled or something, it's like to end it or separate it. But so keep this hell thing in mind as we go forward. One moment, let me get my spot back. Get me Isaiah 31, verse 6.
The book of Isaiah, chapter 31, and verse 6. Turn you unto him from whom the children of Israel have deeply revolted. For in that day every man shall cast away his idols of silver.
They're going to do what?
Cast away his idols of silver.
So every man going to cast away his idols of silver. Read.
And his idols of gold, which your own hands have made unto you
Which
for a
what?
sin. Which your own hands have made unto you for a sin.
So everybody going to have their own little idols that they've made with their own hands. Somebody give me a quote unquote precept for idols and idolatry. Do 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 do. That's a good one. Let's go to a famous one though. What did he say? Jeremiah 10. That's the one. That's famous. And we just was in that season. By the way, Jeremiah 10. Let's go there. Pick it up at verse 3.
The book of Jeremiah, chapter 10 and verse 3. For the customs of the people are vain. For one cuts a tree out of the forest, the work of the hands of the workmen, with an axe. They deck it with silver and with gold.
They do what?
They deck it with silver and with gold.
Oh, Christmas tree, oh, Christmas tree. La, 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 la. Nope. Read on.
They fasten it with nails and with hammers that it move not. They are upright as the palm tree, but speak not.
They do what?
They speak not.
They speak not. Why would he say a tree don't speak? It must got a mouth for it to say that this thing don't speak. Read.
They must needs to be born, because they cannot go.
They cannot what?
They cannot go.
They can't walk, but they must got legs. Read.
Be not afraid of them, for they cannot do evil.
They can what?
Not do evil.
Have you ever thought that Christmas tree might do something to you? But it says that don't be afraid of it. It can't see, it can't talk, it can't walk, and it cannot do anything to you. Now, when we came out of Egypt, what did we have in our pockets and in our book bags? What kind? What did he tell us in the Isaiah verse? He says, you had something in your hands, idols made of silver and gold. Let's see. Give me Ezekiel chapter 20, verse 6 and 7. So this refers us all the way back to Egypt and when we came out of Egypt.
The book of Ezekiel, chapter 20 at verse 6 and 7. In that day that I lifted up mine hand unto them to bring them forth of the land of Egypt into a land that I had espied for them, flowing with milk and honey, which is the esteem of all lands. Then said I unto them, cast you away every man the abominations of his eyes.
Do what?
Cast you away every man the abomination of his eyes.
So why wouldn't they get rid of that stuff before they came out? What does it mean that they took it with them when we came all the way out that land? We seen that man split the sea open and you walk through it with dry land. Why wouldn't you get rid of it then? You still what? You still believe it even though you see him doing his wondrous works, his miracles in front of you, and you still think this stuff that you got in your pocket is doing something. Makes no sense. It's like a child when you turn the light off and you get up under the cover and you think they can't get me now. All you did is put a sheet over you. But when you were a child, you actually believe, I'm safe now. Right? When the boogeyman just come in and snatch it off, right? Well, we doing this as grown-ups. That's what make it so horrible. You were grown up doing this. This don't make sense. So they came out and saw the man doing all of this stuff, saw that they were safe while all the plagues was coming down around them, the whole nine. They don't got no light. They seen all this stuff, and you still got your hand in your pocket, clutching it. Today you would have a cross in your hand and still doing this. Makes no sense. Read from where you was at, Mark.
They, verse 7, then said I unto them, cast you away every man the abominations of his eyes, and defile not yourself with the idols of Egypt.
With the what?
With the idols of Egypt.
Read.
I am Yahuwah, your Elohim, but they rebelled against me.
But they did what?
They rebelled against me.
So he gave them an opportunity to get rid of them. And we still rebelled against them. Well, you know, I don't worship mine. I'm just going to sit mine on the fireplace, you know, and shine it up, and it's going to look nice.
It's like how it look.
You know, it's just the look of it for me, you know. It don't mean nothing to me, though. Stop it. So they was attached to these things. That's why you can't be attached to nothing. That's what the whole thing about the rich man is about. Him and his stuff. He couldn't let it go. They were attached to this stuff. So just like they was coming out of Egypt, we'll be like this in the end, which I believe is soon. Read from where you at. From what it's showing, it was things that was in a man's form. Like today, at this present moment, would be like crucifixes, but we know from over in Revelation 9, I believe it's going to be like action figures, like of the Antichrist. Because he wants that type of reverence and to be the man. Yeah, pick it up from where you was at.
Verse 8, but they rebelled against me and would not listen unto me. They did not every man cast away the abominations of their eyes.
They didn't do it. They kept the stuff. Read.
Neither did they forsake the idols of Egypt.
Neither did they what?
Forsake the idols of Egypt.
So this is why Yah says, when you go in there, Saul, I want you to kill everything and everybody, and I don't want y'all to bring nothing out, because if you look on that ground and you see something shiny, you're going to get attracted to it, and you're going to put it on a pedestal, and you're going to make it in my stead. And you're going to use this and say that this brought you out. He said we was a sottish people. Y'all know what that means? He said that we were a sottish people. Stupid. Yeah, probably. So this idolatry was still running rampant. Even though we came out, we still had the stuff with us. Let's see if we do it. Revelation chapter 9, verse 19.
The book of Revelation, chapter 9 at verse 19. For their power is in their mouth, and their tails, and in their tails. For their tails were like unto serpents, and their heads, and with them they do hurt. And the rest of the men which were not killed by these plagues, yet repented not of the works of their hands, that they should not worship devils and idols of gold and silver, and brass and stone, and of wood, which neither can see nor hear nor walk. Neither repented they of their murders, nor of their sorceries, nor their fornications, nor of their thefts.
So it's showing you again that these things have some sort of a human form, because he's letting you know that they can't see, they can't hear, and they can't walk or talk. So they have made some sort of things in this image he knows that we are an idolatrous people. Therefore, that's why they're going to push it and it make you feel good about self. Go back, Isaiah 31, verse 7.
The book of Isaiah, chapter 31, at verse 7. For in that day, every man shall cast away his idols of silver and his idols of gold, which your own hands have made unto you for a sin. Then shall the Assyrian fall with the sword.
This shall who?
The Assyrian fall with the sword.
The Pope, the Roman.
The Assyrian. Then shall the Assyrian fall with the sword.
Donald Trump.
The Assyrian fall with the sword.
Wait a minute. Just say, dude, I'm going to ask you, B, does this mean the Assyrian or is it really talking about somebody else?
I thought it was Barack Obama. Oh, he was the Assyrian. But
even though he ain't from Assyria?
No. No. So, say his uncle on his daddy's side was Assyrian.
Okay.
No.
So this again points directly out to somebody called the Assyrian. I take the book for what it say. I look for the person coming from Assyria because that's what it say, right? For some reason, Israelites can't accept it. I don't know why. What verse you at?
Is it verse 8?
Read.
Then shall the Assyrian fall with the sword.
He gonna do what?
Fall with the sword.
He's gonna fall with the sword. Read.
Not of a mighty man, and the sword, not of a mean man, shall devour him, but he shall flee from the sword.
So that means he fell, but he got up and he got away. So he's gonna flee. Read.
And his young men shall be discomfited, and he shall pass over to his stronghold.
He's gonna
for
do
fear.
what?
Pass over to his stronghold for fear.
So he's gonna leave from where he's at because he was getting whooped up. He's gonna get up and flee and go back to his stronghold. Read.
And his princes shall be afraid of the ensign, saith Yahuwah, whose fire is in Zion.
Where is it at?
His fire is in Zion.
His fire is in Zion, and what else?
And his furnace in Jerusalem.
And his what is in Jerusalem?
His furnace is in Jerusalem.
So what is that talking about? Place called Gehenna, where they used to burn the trash up, and where Moloch had them sacrifice the babies and burn them alive. So Yah says that he has a sacrifice. It's in Jerusalem, and his furnace is in Jerusalem. Read on. Chapter 32.
Behold, a king shall reign in righteousness, and princes shall rule in judgment, and a man shall be as a hiding place from the wind, and a covert from the tempest.
So right here it says, behold, a king shall rule in righteousness. Is there any king right now ruling in righteousness? Oh, sure. Is the earth super duper wicked right now? So it cannot be that we in the kingdom right now. Because I've been looking at this channel on Instagram called Predator Buster or something like that. Oh my goodness. Do y'all know how many pedophiles there is? The page don't stop. And these guys, most of them is up there in in Auburn Hills. They catch a lot of them at Great Lakes Crossing. And they are catching them and having them, meeting them in stores and stuff. and he's on the phone with him talking, talking like the little girl or the little boy. Wait, where you at? I'm on aisle 7. Okay, I'm coming up. All right, just stay there. Stay where you are, okay? And they pull up with the police, and the guy on the phone looking like a fool, like, what do you want? I don't know what you're talking about. You're on the phone with me right now. You thought I was a 13-year-old boy. You thought I was a 12-year-old girl showing up. And they are whooping these people bad. I'm talking about paws on them, slapping them, beating them, and it don't even work. This your fourth time of me catching you doing this. So it's like they sick and they write on me to tell them it's a trap. Don't do it. I knew it was a trap. I knew it. Was that you talking to the 14-year-old girl? What'd you tell him that you wanted to do? Oh, I was just saying that, I whatever you want to do. No, she's 12. She's 13. He's 12. He's 13. Don't do nothing with him. It's thousands of them. And it ain't no look. It ain't no, pedophiles look like that. Every people you wouldn't expect. That's why we got to be so careful with our babies and everything we do. When you take your babies out somewhere, how you used to see them people with the little leash on them, you need to do it. Because there's people waiting to snatch them up. The minute you turn your head and you looking at that dress or something that you looking at or whatever it be, and you looking at that phone, these people is out here on them.
They're on them games too.
I'm about to say, all our babies be on these roadblocks. They got the guy on there, luring them in. Come meet me. Yeah, I'll buy you all the Wendy's and stuff that you like. Man, I'm talking about if you watch it, it's gonna have you. It's gonna blow you away to have 60 and 70-year-old men trying to meet up with kids as young as 1. This one guy was trying to get the 9-year-old daughter to molest the 6-year-old brother and the 1-year-old brother. And he had the plan all concocted. And then he was going to sneak over there. And it's like the more riskier it is, the funner it is to him. This world is sick. So with all of that stuff going, there's no way we can be in Yah's kingdom. We're going to continue. Where you at, Huck? Okay, we good there. Let's get Joel chapter 3, verse 9. So remember, I told you this is going to be a primitive war. They may start out with their little missiles and all that stuff, but he's going to put a stop to it. Joel chapter 3, verse 9.
The book of Joel, chapter 3 at verse 9. Proclaim you this among the Gentiles. Prepare war.
Prepare what?
Prepare war.
Read.
Wake up the mighty men. Let all the men of war draw near. Let them come up. Beat your plowshares into swords.
Do what?
Beat your plowshares into swords.
So right here he says, beat your plowshares into what?
Into swords.
Into swords. What is a plowshare? This is something sort of a gardening tool. Yeah. So he says right here, beat your plowshares into swords. This means that you didn't have one. So you turned something into a weapon. Keep this in mind. Read.
And you're pruning hooks into spears.
And your what?
You're pruning hooks into spears.
So what type of war is it going to be? Primitive, some sort of hand-to-hand combat. That's what he's talking about. So right here, he tells them to do it. Now let's go to the beginning of the kingdom and see what he told them. Get me Isaiah. Hold that. Get me Isaiah chapter 2, verse 1. So this is at the beginning of Armageddon, what we just read in Joel chapter 3, and this is at the end of it. Let's see.
The book of Isaiah chapter 2 at verse 1. The word that Isaiah, the son of Amos, saw concerning Judah and Jerusalem. And it shall come to pass in the last days.
What days?
In the last days.
Read.
That the mountain of Yahuwah's house shall be established in the top of the mountain.
This is talking about New Jerusalem sitting above the other mountains. This is New Jerusalem sitting up here, that Yah's kingdom up here. Read.
And shall be exalted above the hills, and all nations shall flow unto it.
All what?
Nations shall flow unto it.
So everybody got to come during this millennium that's happening. If you don't come up here, y'all going to cut your rain off. He's going to cut everything off from you, and you're going to get sick and die. Read.
And verse 3, and many people shall go and say, come you, and let us go up to the mountains of Yahuwah.
Let us do what?
Let's go up into the mountain of Yahuwah.
This means at this time, people are going to actually be able to go to the kingdom of Yah and go inside. Read.
To the house of the Elohim of Jacob, and he will teach us his ways.
He's going to do what?
Will teach us of his ways.
Who teaching us his ways right now? Is it him? Or is it like people like us sitting up here? It ain't him right now. So when this happens, he's going to do it himself. Read.
And we will walk in his paths, for out of Zion shall go forth the law.
What's going to go forth?
The law.
Read.
And the word of Yahuwah from Jerusalem. And he shall judge among the nations.
He's going to do what amongst the nations?
He's going to judge among the nations.
He's going to judge amongst the nations. He's going to, off of what you have done, he's going to determine if you are the sheep or if you are the goats. Read.
And shall rebuke many people, and they shall beat their swords into plowshares.
They shall do what?
Beat their swords into plowshares.
So in Joel, what did they do?
Beat their swords into plowshares.
Here it's the reverse. He reversing it now. So in Joel, they beat the plowshares into swords. Over here, they're reversing everything back. Finish that out.
And they shall beat their swords into plowshares, and their spears into pruning hooks.
So everything is now in reverse. So during Yah's millennial kingdom, guess what it won't be any of?
Weapons.
It won't be no weapons. Is these dudes killing each other right now? We have plenty of weapons if people are doing stuff right now, but during his millennium, it won't be no weapons. And he tells you in Ezekiel that he's going to take 7 months to burn up everything. That's how long it's going to take. 7 months to burn up everything. It might be 7 years. I'm going to check. Read that last verse again. So in Isaiah 2 and verse 4, he's reversing what Joel chapter 3 was talking about. Read.
And he shall judge among the nations, and shall rebuke many people, and they shall beat their swords into plowshares, and their spears into pruning hooks. Nation shall not lift up sword against nation.
He said, what?
Nation shall not lift up sword against nation.
Wasn't Ukraine and some other places lifting up things and fighting with each other? He letting you know in here, it won't be none of that. Because he going to be ruling with a rod of iron. The minute you get out of line over there, it's a wrap. He got that place, that fire that's burning before him, and he going to throw you right in it. Read that verse one more time.
And he shall judge among the nations, and shall rebuke many people, and they shall beat their swords into plowshares, and their spears into pruning hooks. Nation shall not lift up sword against nation, neither shall they learn war anymore.
Neither shall they what?
Learn war anymore.
So you're not going to even learn war in the kingdom, in Messiah's millennial kingdom. We cannot be in it right now. Impossible. Joel chapter 3, verse 11.
The book of Joel, chapter 3 and verse 11. Assemble yourselves and come, all you heathen, and gather yourselves together round about there, cause your mighty ones to come, cause your mighty ones to come down, O Yahuwah. Let the heathen be wakened and come up to the valley of Jehoshaphat, for there will I sit to judge all the heathen round about. Put you.
Go ahead.
The book of Joel, chapter 3 and verse 11. Assemble yourselves and come, all you heathen, and gather yourselves together round about. There cause your mighty ones to come down, O Yahuwah. Let the heathen be awakened and come up to the valley of Jehoshaphat, for there will I sit to judge all the heathen round about. Put you in the sickle, for the harvest is ripe. Come, get you down, for the press is full. The fats overflow.
Where do we read about this sickle being cast into the harvest? That's Revelation 14, same thing. Read on.
For their wickedness is great, multitudes in the valley of decision. For the day of Yahuwah is near in the valley of decision. The sun and the moon shall be darkened, and the stars shall withdraw their shining. Yahuwah also shall roar out of Zion.
You're going to do what?
Roar out of Zion.
Read.
And utter his voice from Jerusalem and Shamaim, and the earth shall shake. But Yahuwah will be the hope of his people and the strength of the children of Israel. So shall you know that I am Yahuwah your Elohim.
So in that day when these things happen, it's going to make you do what? You're going to know for a fact who he is. What verse you at?
17.
Read.
So shall you know that I am Yahuwah your Elohim, dwelling in Zion, my set apart mountain.
Doing what in Zion?
Dwelling in Zion.
What does it mean to dwell in Zion? Is he there now? No. Because what are they doing over there now? Fighting, gay parades, the whole nine. So he lets you know when this stuff take place, I'm going to live in Zion. Read.
Dwelling in Zion, my set apart mountain. Then shall Jerusalem be set apart, and there shall no stranger pass through.
Is it set apart now?
No.
No. It is not. Read that part one more time.
So shall you know that I am Yahuwah your Elohim, dwelling in Zion, my set apart mountain. Then shall Jerusalem be set apart, and there shall no stranger pass through her anymore. And it shall come to pass in that day that the mountains shall drop down new wine and the hills shall flow with milk, and all the rivers of Judah shall flow with waters, and a fountain shall come forth of the house of Yahuwah, and shall water the valley of Shittim.
So do what?
Water the valley of Shittim. Egypt shall be a desolation, and Edom shall be desolate, shall be a desolate wilderness for the violence against the children of Judah, because they have shed innocent blood in their land. But Judah shall dwell forever, and Jerusalem from generation to generation.
How long?
From generation to generation. For I will cleanse their blood that I have not cleansed, for Yahuwah dwells in Zion.
He dwells where?
In Zion.
In Zion. Revelation 16. Pick it up at verse 16.
The book of Revelation, chapter 16 and verse 16. And he gathered them together into a place in the Hebrew tongue called Armageddon. And the seventh Malach poured out his vial unto the air, and there came a great voice out of the temple of Shamaim from the throne, saying, It is done. And there were voices and thunders and lightnings, and there was a great earthquake, such as was not since men were upon the earth. So mighty an earthquake.
So what?
So mighty an earthquake.
Read.
And so great. And the great city was divided into three parts.
So he says that these things are going to flee away. What does that mean? That stuff is going to, land masses are flee away. How does that work? What'd you say, Art? I want you to, that's right. So the most famous earthquake in the script is not actually known as it, but this is exactly what it was. Pangea. Get me Genesis chapter 11. Verse 25. So the picture is, if you were there when this earthquake took place and you were standing here and your boy was across the street or something, and all of a sudden it happened, y'all land masses would start separating from each other. That would make it look like it's fleeing away. So y'all give you great metaphors and thematic themes to show you what he's talking about. Read. Genesis 11:25.
The book of Genesis, chapter 11 and verse 25. And Nahor lived after he begat Terah 119 years, and begat sons and daughters. And Terah lived 70 years, and begat Abram, Nahor, and Haran. Now these are the generations of Terah. Terah begat Abram, Nahor, and Haran. And Haran begat Lot. And Haran died before his father Terah in the land of his nativity, in Ur of the Chaldees. And Abram and Nahor took wives of the name of Abram's wife was Sarai.
Go back, jump down, go to verse 23.
Verse 23. And Serug lived after he begat Nahor 200 years, and begat sons and daughters. And Nahor lived 29 years, and begat Terah. And Nahor lived after he begat Terah 119 years, and begat sons and daughters. And Terah lived 70 years, and begat Abram.
One moment, let me get this. Genesis 11:17.
The book of Genesis, chapter 11 and verse 17. And Eber lived after he begat Peleg 430 years.
So what does Peleg's name mean? It means earthquake. But earthquake does what to the land? Separates, right? So this is the great earthquake. Read.
And Eber lived after he begat Peleg 430 years, and begat sons and daughters. And Peleg lived 30 years, and begat Reu. And Peleg lived after he begat Reu 209 years, and begat sons and daughters. And Reu lived 230 years, and begat Serug. And Reu lived after he begat Serug 207 years, and begat sons and daughters. And Serug lived 30 years, and begot Nahor.
So I'm missing the verse, but it says that in Peleg's day, the earth was divided. This is going back to what Maccabee said, what is called Pangea, when the land masses was split. And if you were there at that time, it would appear that land masses were fleeing away. So he's giving you this metaphor so you can understand what it looked like when this was actually taking place. Talk about the land. So it was Genesis 10:25. I said 11:25.
Genesis chapter 10 and verse 25. And unto Eber were born 2 sons, and the name of one was Peleg, for in his days was the earth divided, and his brother's name was Joktan.
So right here, in his days was the earth divided. So this is the earthquake, because that's what his name actually means, earthquake. Absolutely. Everything got a meaning. All right, get me where I'm at. Revelation 16:19.
The book of Revelation, chapter 16 and verse 19. And the great city was divided into 3 parts, and the cities of the nations fell. The great Babylon came in remembrance before Elohim, to give unto her the cup of the wine of the fierceness of his wrath. And every island fled away, and the mountains were not found. And there fell upon men a great hail.
A great what?
A great hail.
What did I tell y'all? Remember earlier?
That hail.
The hail, right? It says that the hail was going to sweep away what? The lies. But where does this hail come from? From the Shamaim. From above the firmament. And we know that from the other passage, it says that it's mingled with something. Mingled with fire. How? What's the firmament made of? Ice, right? That's how. But this hail comes from somewhere. But keep. Yep, and it had no bubbles in it, no whiteness in it, no nothing. Pure ice. Yep. Read from where you at.
Revelation chapter 16 and verse 21. And there fell upon men a great hail out of Shamaim, every stone about the weight of a talent.
How heavy?
About the weight of a talent.
So from I looked this up, they said that these is like 100 pounds. About the weight of a talent. Read on. Let's see what happened.
And men blasphemed Elohim
They
because
did
of the,
what?
They blasphemed Elohim because of the plague of the hail.
Mm.
For the plague thereof was exceeding great.
It was what?
Exceeding great.
So it wasn't great. It was greater than great. How do you do that? It exceeds greatness. So these hailstones come down and it actually make the people more mad. But where do we see hail first? Let's go to Exodus. We're going to Exodus chapter 9. Pick it up at verse 18. Exodus 9, verse 18.
The book of Exodus, chapter 9, at verse 18. Behold, tomorrow about this time I will cause it to rain a very grievous hail, such as have not been in Egypt since the foundation thereof, even until now. Send therefore now and gather your cattle and all that you have in the field, for upon every man and beast which shall be found in the field and shall not be brought home, the hail shall come down upon them, and they shall die.
They shall what?
They shall die.
Read.
He that fears the word of Yahuwah among the servants of Pharaoh made his servants and his cattle flee into the houses. And he that regarded not the word of Yahuwah left his servants and his cattle in the field. And Yahuwah said unto Moses, stretch forth your hand toward Shamaim, and there may be hail in the land of Egypt, upon man and upon beast and upon every herb of the field throughout the land of Egypt. And Moses stretched forth his rod toward Shamaim, and Yahuwah sent thunder and hail, and the fire ran along upon the ground, and Yahuwah rained hail upon the land of Egypt. So there was hail and fire mingled with hail, very grievous, such as there was none like it in all the land of Egypt since it became a nation. And the hail smote throughout all the land of Egypt, and all that was in the field, both man and beast. And the hail smote every herb of the field, and brake every tree of the field. Only in the land of Goshen, where the children of Israel were, was there no hail.
So even though we were in Egypt at the time, it didn't affect us at all, because Yah know how to get who he want to get, right? So we were in the land of Goshen, and it didn't affect us at all. But everybody else that wasn't a part of that fold was smashed with these hailstones. Read on, because we're going to show you that they're going to get a little relief.
Verse 27, and Pharaoh sent and called for Moses and Aaron, and said unto them, I have sinned this time.
What does he just do?
I have sinned this time.
He's confessing something, right? This is the great Pharaoh who the people view as a god, confessing, I have sinned. Read.
Yahuwah is righteous, and I and my people are wicked.
He's just outright. This is the great Pharaoh confessing, me and my people is wicked and y'all righteous. Watch this though. Read on.
Entreat Yahuwah, for it is enough.
What does it mean to entreat him? Talk to him. Pray about this for us. For me. Read.
For it is enough that there be no more mighty thunderings and hail, and I will let you go, and you shall stay no longer. And Moses said unto him, as soon as I am going out of the city, I will spread abroad my hands unto Yahuwah, and the thunder shall cease, neither shall there be any more hail, that you may know how that the earth is Yahuwah's. But as for you and your servants, I know that you will not yet fear Yahuwah Elohim. And the flax and the barley was smitten, for the barley was in the ear, and the flax was bold, but the wheat and the rye were not smitten, for they were not grown up. And Moses went out of the city from Pharaoh, and spread abroad his hands unto Yahuwah, and the thundering and hail ceased, and the rain was not poured upon the earth. And Pharaoh saw that the rain and the hail and the thunders were ceased. he sinned yet more and hardened his heart, he and his servants. And the heart of Pharaoh was hardened, neither would he let the children of Israel go.
What verse is that?
35.
Go back and read 33 again to 34.
Exodus 9 and 33. And Moses went up out of the city from Pharaoh and spread abroad his hands unto Yahuwah, and the thunders and hail ceased, and the rain was not poured upon the earth. And when Pharaoh saw that the rain and the hail and the thunders were ceased, he sinned yet more.
Well, he did what?
He sinned yet more.
Didn't he just acknowledge that Yah was righteous and him and his people was wicked? But as soon as he got some relief, he went right back into character. So Yah is showing you that a sinful man, no matter how many chances you give him, he gonna go right back to who he is. This is showing you the reason that he has had mercy on the devil, because a lot of people talk about Yah as if he unfair to the devil. And he's showing you, even with this, if I were to partner him and do this, as soon as he get out, what is he going to do? He going to go right back to his character. He going to be locked away for 1,000 years to sit in there and think about it and ponder on it. I'm powerless against him. As soon as he get out, he going to go right back to his ways. Think about that. How long have I been going, Mark? Goodness. I'll do one more script. Let's go. Revelation 19, verse 9.
The book of Revelation, chapter 19 at verse 9. And he says unto me, write, blessed are they which are called unto the marriage supper of the Lamb.
Unto what?
Unto the marriage supper of the Lamb.
But what if you married the other guy? What if you took him? What if you was his lawfully wedded bride? What does that mean for you when she had come for his bride?
And be married.
Mm.
Oh man, can have two masters.
Woo. Read.
And he said unto me, write, blessed are they which are called unto the marriage supper of the Lamb. And he says unto me, these are the true sayings of Elohim. And I fell at his feet to worship him.
To do what?
To worship him.
So right here, John is so overwhelmed with what he's seeing that he falls in front of the angel and worships him. If any man fall in front of y'all and get down and worship you, should you encourage it and say, keep on, because that's what you're going to be doing in the kingdom anyway?
If he Esau,
Only if it's Esau, right?
Esau.
I've walked through the mud in these shoes, so I make sure you get in there good. So remember, if you see any man receiving this type of thing, you should get far away from him. Let's see what this angel do. Read on.
And I fell at his feet to worship him. And he said unto me, see, you do it not. I am your fellow servant and of your brethren that have the testimony of Yeshua. Worship Elohim, for the testimony of Yeshua is the ruach of the prophecy.
So what did this angel do right here? Get up I'm your fellow brother. Don't do that. So guess what? If this angel do this, what should our brothers on the street be doing? Get up from there. Don't do that. That's showing you something immediately to tell you to get away. If anybody tell you to do that and condone it and wants it, that's wickedness. You should not do that. This angel himself is saying don't do that. So a man should know not to do that. Read that one more time.
And I fell at his feet to worship him. And he said unto me, see, you do it not.
See you what?
You do it not.
See, you do it not. Read.
I am your fellow servant and of your brethren that have the testimony of Yeshua. Worship Elohim, for the testimony of Yeshua is the Ruach of prophecy.
It is what?
The Ruach of prophecy.
It's the Ruach of prophecy. So anybody that's not a part of the Godhead should not receive any worship. This is what this Malachim is showing you. Get me Joshua chapter 5, verse 13. The first part of the commandment says, you shall have no other gods before me, neither shall you bow down to worship them. Verse 13, Joshua chapter 5, verse 13.
The book of Joshua chapter 5 at verse 13. And it came to pass when Joshua was by Jericho that he lifted up his eyes and looked, and behold, there stood a man over against him.
There stood what?
A man over against him.
So it's a man over there standing against him. Read.
With his sword drawn in his hand. And Joshua went unto him and said unto him, are you for us?
Man, look how brave Joshua is. You see this man standing over there, you can tell he's great.
Whose side you
And Joshua will just walk right up and say, hey, who you with? You with? Who? Woo. That boy, Joshua wasn't no joke for that. He ain't even get behind a tree and ask. Read on.
And Joshua went to him and said unto him, are you for us or for our adversaries?
What if he would have said, I'm for the adversary? Now what? What you gonna do? Read.
And he said, no, but as captain of the host of Yahuwah, I am now come. And Joshua fell on his face to the earth.
He did what?
Fell on his face to the earth.
He fell on his face to the earth and did what?
And did worship.
He did what?
And did worship.
Now, surely this man, because it told us this was a man, right? Surely he gonna tell him to get up from there, just like the angel in Revelation said, right? And say, don't do that, right? Read.
And said unto him, what saith my master unto his servant? And the captain of Yahuwah's host said unto Joshua, loose your shoe from off your foot, for the place whereon you stand is set apart.
It is what?
Set apart.
That's the same thing he said in Exodus, right?
Yes, sir.
When he told Moses.
Yes, sir.
So this person right here is not Yah, is receiving worship. Something going on.
Yeah. And Joshua did so, and Jericho was straightly shut up because of the children of Israel. None went out.
We good right there.
All right.
John chapter 20, verse 27.
The book of John, chapter 20, at verse 27. Then says he unto Thomas, reach here your finger, and behold my hand, and reach here your hand, and thrust into my side.
Now watch what Thomas calls him.
And be not faithless, but believing. And Thomas answered and said unto him, my master.
My who?
My master.
Read.
My Elohim.
My who?
My Elohim.
He's talking about Mashiach.
Yeshua said unto him, Thomas, Because you have seen me, you have believed. Increased are they that have not seen and yet have believed.
Have y'all seen him?
Yes, sir.
You believe?
Yes, sir.
This is what we talking about. One last one. Luke 24:49.
The book of Luke, chapter 24, at verse 49. And behold, I send the promise of my Father upon you, but tarry you in the city of Jerusalem until you be endowed with the power from on high. And he led them out as far as Bethany, and he lifted up his hand and increased them. And it came to pass, while he increased them, he was parted from them and carried up into Shamaim.
And carried where?
Up into Shamaim.
So right here, they watching him go up into the Shamaim. Read and watch what they do.
And they worshiped him.
And they did what?
And they worshiped him.
And they worshiped him. Now, if he don't supposed to get this, he should have turned around in the air and came back down and say, don't do that, right? But we see he received it because he is this person that was back in the Old Testament that they were doing this for, that Joshua fell down and worshiped. So we'll stop right there.
Hallelujah. 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 Edie, you get all that?
That's some of how Armageddon is going to unfold, but got to finish out that 19.
You like it? You love it? Teach Armageddon part 2 next week. Is there?
All right, all right. They always do that. And it's always funny. I'll pray outside. Indeed. So this was Armageddon. Well, the first part of Armageddon. I'm sure he has a lot more to go. And I was pretty sure this was going to run about 2 hours. It is 2 hours and 2 minutes right at the moment. So praise to the Abba. And yeah, very interesting as we realize and understand that we are right close to the end times, and we know all of these things are going to unfold and they're going to come to fruition. I'll be honest with you, and it's as real as it is, as real. I mean, it's real as I look out my window at the buildings outside of my window here. That's how real these scriptures are, and all these things that we were reading just now, that we were seeing just now. All of these things are going to come to reality, and it's not. I know we got to go through it. It's not something I'm looking forward to, honestly. I know we have to go through it because it's got to happen. But and I trust the Most High. But at the same time, it's still it's still not going to be a good situation. You know what I'm saying? It's not going to be a good feeling. Understand that that comparison to the mob, that's a big deal. Like if you want protection, you don't want them to come and get you. You know what I'm saying? Then just pay this, and it won't happen. You know what I'm saying? That's how this anti-Messiah is going to be trying to jam you up. So if you like, yeah, I'll pay it. Just yeah, I'll worship you if you just will keep me safe. Well, you just damned yourself. You know what I'm saying? So, man, that's and we know these things, but, and I'm not saying but because I want to do it or whatever the case, but I know it's going to be some people that's going to be, it's going to be some of our people that's going to, just keep me safe. Just keep me safe. I remember, I can't remember what it wasn't COVID. It was before COVID. I think it was right after 9/11, actually. Right after 9/11. People were saying, yeah, You can take away my freedom. Just keep me safe. You know what I'm saying? Just keep me safe, whatever that entails. And that's what they wanted. They wanted it. They were ready to give it over. And so it's going to be a lot of people that's going to fall for that and put themselves right in that same position. So keeping that in mind, it's not going to be a pleasant situation, but we know about it, and we should be preparing mentally and spiritually. Those are the two main components: the spiritual and the mental, so that our minds are strong and our bodies follow our mind, but our spirit, our ruach, has to be the strongest of all, because that is the unbreakable, everlasting part of us. So that's where we have to really be strong in all of these things. Um, it's kind of like that test you got coming up. You're like, dang, I know I'm ready. I think I'm ready, but man, what if it's something I'm just not? I haven't foreseen. I don't know. But you got to do it. You got to go through it, and once you get it, hopefully, once you get it done, you all set. But you mess around and mess up. You know what I'm saying? Now you realize why you were so nervous about it. So, but yeah, that's it. I'm gonna yield there. Go ahead, Aki.
These scriptures are infallible, and yet there's some people out there that question the authenticity of it all. From Daniel to many other books of the prophets. We can read what they had to say thousands of years ago, and it ring true today. We know that the Most High declares the end from the beginning. It's up to us to not only read the scriptures, but to apply it to our lives. But before applying it to our lives, we have to understand. I'm thankful for brothers out there who are students first of the word, that can help us break down, what is being told to us. That way we know what to stay away from. We know what to repent for, and we know how to prepare for what's to come. All praises to the Most High for bringing us into this moment. Because it could have been much different, and I don't understand why he was even mindful to bring me into this truth. It's all his doing, man. And I got to continue to trust him and keep the faith. And also, along with that faith, keeping the commandments, because it's going to go well with those who do so. All praises to the Most High.
Hallelujah. Yes, indeed. Yes, indeed. The Abba is just so magnificent because, like Mark said, we did not have to be here. We did not have to be keeping the Sabbath, learning these lessons, reading this book, trying to walk in the way that the Most High have set forth. It's a lot of other stuff we could be doing, and a lot of it could be folly, just complete folly. But the Abba has seen fit to give us the desire to follow Him, and so we go to the book and we read it, and He causes it to resonate with us, and we do what thus says the scriptures, because we believe it's the word of the Most High, and nobody is able to tell us anything different. That, well, we don't have to do that. You don't have to do that. You can do this, and it's okay if you do it this way. And no, we not with that. You know what I'm saying? We don't do the Hellenization. We don't do the false doctrine, the ideology of everything else is we can just do it that way or do it our own way. None of that foolishness. So praises to the Abba. He is absolutely magnificent. We'll go ahead and cut this video off. Join us back. We got Deborah Ream.
Indeed.
Deborah Ream, we jumping into with head first. We jumping in head first in the Devarim, first 7 chapters. If you know first 7 chapters of Devarim, you know it's some good stuff in there. We're gonna get in there and we're gonna do it up. We're gonna do it nice. We're gonna do it smooth, and we're gonna enjoy getting into this book. So join us for that, and we will be back just shortly. Praises to the Abba. Why we do this? We do this for our brothers and our sisters all over the world. Romans chapter 10 and verse 9. Brethren, my heart's desire and prayer to Ha'abba for Israel is that they might be saved. We want to see our people saved. That is the desire of this, of the AOI, of this platform. We want to see our people saved. And how are we going to do that? How are they going to do that? How are they going to get to the salvation that the Most High have set forth? By first of all, believing in the Mashiach, keeping the faith or the belief in the Mashiach. In Exodus chapter 12 and verse 13, let us hear the conclusion of the whole matter. Fear the Most High and keep his commandments, for this is the whole duty of man. It is so very important to understand that in the conclusion of the whole matter, we are to fear the Most High and keep his commandments, for this is the whole duty of man. And at the end of the day, when it is all said and done, all the dust is settled, all the smoke is cleared, we will be judged on whether we have feared the Most High and kept his commandments. Why? Because this is the whole duty of man. I am your Akazaki Yahu, joined by my most esteemed Kenaniah, giving all praises, honor, and great esteem unto the Most High Power, Yahuwah Bashem, Yahushua HaMashiach, and to the 12 tribes of Israel who were scattered to the 4 quarters of the earth. My brothers, my sisters, all the Yehudim, I said that wrong. I'm trying to say the children. I may have said it wrong. I said Yehudim. That's what I meant to say, Yehudim. Anyhow, Shalom wa Baruchim, that is peace and blessings. And I cannot wait to the day when the Most High brings us back together and we are once again 12 tribes, one family, one nation, under the Most High power, under one covenant, back in our own land with a heart of flesh and no more a heart of stone, with our enemies and our adversaries and all those who hate us, who have no more weapons under our feet. Until that day come, Shabbat Shalom, family.
Shabbat Shalom, Mr. Pekah.
All praises to the Abba. Praise you, Abba Yah. Barak Hashem Yahuwah. Hallelujah. Praise you, Abba.